for the division begins with Sally and Billy. Sally Spectra had always been a polarizing figure, a woman who managed to charm her way into lives and situations only to leave chaos in her wake. This time, she had set her sights on the growing tension between Billy Abbott and his brother Jack Abbott. Sally knew exactly where to prod to make the fracture between the Abbott brothers grow into a full-blown rift, and she delivered her poison with skillful precision. Pulling Billy aside, her voice smooth and persuasive, she planted a seed of doubt so carefully that it felt like an irrefutable truth. "How did you notice, Billy?" she whispered. "Jack isn't running Jibot like it's a family company anymore. He's running it like it's his empire. Do you really think he doesn't want it all? That he isn't trying to squeeze you out?" Billy, whose frustrations had already been simmering beneath the surface, couldn't ignore the insinuation. Sally knew he felt undervalued, overlooked by his older brother. She twisted the knife further, reminding Billy of his rightful stake in Jibot's legacy, a company that belonged to all the Abbotts, not just Jack. "You deserve more," she told him. "Don't let Jack hoard everything while you stand in his shadow. You're an Abbott too, Billy. Act like it." It was a devastating manipulation, and it worked. The trust between Billy and Jack had always been fragile, a delicate balance of respect and rivalry. Sally's words tipped it off kilter. For Billy, the thought that Jack might truly be consolidating power at Jibot stung, not just as a businessman, but as a brother. As that thought grew into anger, Billy cut ties with Jack, severing a bond that had kept the Abbott family from splintering completely. Sally's plan was clear: cause chaos, turn brother against brother, and watch as the fallout opened opportunities she could seize for herself. Her true nature, the schemer and manipulator, was finally beginning to shine through. Sally Spectra was back in the game, and she wasn't playing nice. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Billy gets angry and punches Jack after heated argument, leaves and cuts ties. Get ready for an explosive episode on the Young and the Restless as Billy Abbott reaches his breaking point with his brother, Jack Abbott. Here's what to expect in this highly charged moment. The tension between Billy and Jack has been brewing for a while, and in today's episode, it all comes to a head. After a heated confrontation over business decisions and family loyalty, Billy can no longer hold back his frustration. What started as a typical sibling disagreement quickly escalates into something much more intense. The brothers clash over their differences, with Billy accusing Jack of making decisions that have hurt their family and business. Billy feels betrayed by Jack's choices and doesn't believe Jack has been completely transparent with him. As the argument turns personal, Billy's emotions take over. Feeling disrespected and ignored, he lashes out in a moment of rage and punches Jack. The physical altercation shocks everyone in the room, as both brothers exchange harsh words, and Billy makes it clear he's had enough. The punch is more than just physical, it's the culmination of years of pent-up anger and resentment between the two. This fight is likely to have lasting consequences for both the Abbott family and Billy's emotional state. In the wake of the fight, Billy makes a bold decision. He tells Jack that he's done with the Abbott family and done with the business. In a move that will leave everyone stunned, Billy walks out, cutting ties with Jack and the rest of the family. Billy's exit from the company is not just professional, it's deeply personal. This departure marks a major turning point for Billy, as he leaves behind the legacy of the Abbott family. He will now have to navigate his life independently, and his relationship with Jack may never be the same. The fallout. What's next for Billy and Jack? The repercussions of Billy's departure will be far-reaching. Jack is left to pick up the pieces of their fractured relationship, and it's unclear how the Abbott family will deal with the fallout. Billy's exit could also spell trouble for Jabot, as his departure leaves a significant hole in the company. Will Jack and the rest of the family try to convince Billy to come back, or is this the final break? As for Billy, this could be the start of a new chapter in his life, but it's unclear where he will go from here. Will he reinvent himself outside of the Abbott family, or will the bitterness of this rift continue to haunt him? What's coming next? This emotional outburst and split is set to rock the Abbott family dynamics. Will Billy return in the future, or is this truly the end of his time at Jebat? Keep watching to see how the Abbott family deals with this explosive fallout, and how Billy's decision will impact the future of the Abbott legacy. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the Winters family is working to uncover the truth about Audra Charles, a woman whose presence threatens their legacy. Devin and Lily, protective of their family's future, have started keeping a close eye on Audra. They suspect her motives, particularly regarding her relationship with Nate, are far from genuine. Audra is manipulative, charming, and enigmatic. She has a way of making herself indispensable while creating divisions among those around her. Devin has tried warning Nate about Audra's potential for harm, but Nate perceives his cousin's concerns as interference. To Nate, Devin's warnings feel like an attempt to control his life rather than genuine care. Despite Audra's history of deception, Nate defends her, believing in the softer side she occasionally shows. While her past is riddled with betrayal and manipulation, Nate remains convinced that she deserves the benefit of the doubt. He envisions a partnership built on shared ambition and trust, unaware that this foundation is nothing more than a facade. Audra's intentions are clear to Devin and Lily. She uses her relationships as tools to further her ambitions. Her words to Nate are carefully calculated, appealing to his pride and ambition. "You deserve more than being second to Devon," she whispers, planting seeds of doubt and encouraging him to challenge his cousin's authority. For Audra, love is a weapon. She doesn't care for Nate the way he cares for her. To her, he is a stepping stone to power. By pushing Nate to vie for the CEO position, she positions herself to gain influence and control over their family's company. Devin and Lily see through Audra's games and recognize the danger she poses. They understand that exposing her will be the only way to protect their family and business. However, confronting Nate directly has proven ineffective, as it only pushes him closer to Audra. Meanwhile, Nate wrestles with his own doubts. Though he trusts Audra, moments of unease linger. Devin's warnings echo in his mind, forcing him to question whether Audra's ambitions go beyond their relationship. Yet Audra is always quick to reassure him with sweet promises, keeping him under her influence. As the Winters family works to uncover Audra's true motives, the stakes couldn't be higher. Devin and Lily must act quickly to save their family and company from destruction. Audra continues to manipulate Nate, leading him further down a path of betrayal. The battle lines are drawn. Will Nate recognize the truth in time? Or will Audra succeed in driving the Winters family apart and seizing the power she craves? Only time will tell. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the days of December 19th, 2024. In the waning days of 2024, Genoa City thrummed with an electric tension that few could ignore. The holidays were coming, yet no one seemed interested in peace or harmony. Instead, the year's end carried with it a surging undercurrent of rebellion, loss, and fragile hope, a kind of tumult that paradoxically made it one of the most riveting seasons for the faithful followers who had watched these lives unfold day after day. This was the gift to the fans, a year-end crescendo that would change everything and everyone. At the center of it all stood Jordan, her eyes clouded with disillusionment and determination. For months, she had been a silent partner in Ian Ward's shadowy schemes. She had stood by as he laid elaborate plans, some too insane to comprehend, all orchestrated under the banner of some twisted vision he insisted would bring Genoa City to its knees. But now, at this critical juncture, Jordan no longer believed that Ian's path was one she could follow. The cruelties he embraced, the casualties he accepted, and the sacrificial pawns he arranged were too much. Something inside her had shifted. She wanted no part in his madness, no more manipulation, no more quiet agreement with his vicious designs. A spark of courage flared in her chest as she resolved to break away, to defy him openly, no matter the cost. Everyone in town was asking the same hushed question. Why did Sharon have to die? What had she done that warranted such a fate? Rumors swirled around every corner of Crimson Lights and the Grand Phoenix lobby, vague whispers about who might have pulled the strings and why. Sharon's death seemed not only unnecessary but forced, as if someone had decided her very existence posed a threat to the equilibrium of Genoa City. This was no ordinary tragedy. It felt more like a message written in blood, sorrow and regret aimed at keeping some nefarious secret hidden just a little while longer. Those who loved her, and even those who had once opposed her, found themselves questioning their roles in this grim drama. The notion of Sharon's life being snuffed out with so little justice or explanation was igniting something fierce among them. People who had once kept their heads down were now lifting their chins, eyes narrowed, ready to push back. If Sharon's death was a calculated move, then perhaps fighting back was the only rational response. Ian Ward stood at the center of that storm. His presence was felt in darkened boardrooms, hushed living rooms, and in the corners of the park late at night. There was a chaotic genius to him, an unpredictable energy that no one could fully understand. He had too many plans swirling in that mind of his, too many petty vendettas and twisted aspirations. If anyone deserved blame for Sharon's demise, it was likely Ian or someone under his influence. Yet pinpointing his exact role remained elusive, like trying to catch smoke in your hand. Those who dared oppose him, Jordan included, were beginning to realize that to do so would not only risk their safety, but also shake the foundations of Genoa City's fragile balance of power. While the city's young and restless population simmered with suspicion and grief, a quieter but no less poignant scene was unfolding inside the Abbott mansion. Tracy and Jack found themselves together in the study, surrounded by the silent witness of family photographs and old heirlooms. Kyle's heartbreak and family turmoil. After a series of shocking revelations, Kyle Abbott finds himself torn between his loyalty to his family and his growing feelings for Claire. When Victor Newman makes a surprise appearance, Kyle's emotional turmoil deepens. Victor's intervention could derail Kyle's relationship with Claire and force him to make a tough decision that will impact his future at Abbott Enterprises. Will Victor once again manipulate the situation to his advantage? Stay tuned as Victor threatens to tear the Abbott family apart. Sharon's desperate attempt to save her family. Sharon Newman is faced with an emotional crossroads as she turns to Jordan for help in dealing with the mess that Ian Ward has created. Jordan's troubled past threatens to undo everything Sharon has worked so hard to protect, and she finds herself trying to set a trap for Ian to expose his treachery. But in a surprising turn, Jordan admits to Sharon that he has deep regrets and wants to make amends for his sins. Will Sharon be able to trust Jordan, or is his confession just another manipulation? Nate and Audra's power struggle intensifies. Audra Charles turns up the heat in her pursuit of power, and she's not afraid to play dirty. Nate Hastings is caught between Audra's ambition and the truth about Devon. When Audra urges Nate to defeat Devon and claim the CEO position at Winters Enterprises, the tension between them reaches a boiling point. Will Nate give in to Audra's pressure, or will he finally stand up to her and make a move to protect his relationship with Devon? This battle for corporate dominance could destroy friendships and alliances. Billy's secret weapon unleashed. Billy Abbott makes a shocking move when he reveals his secret weapon to Jack Abbott, one that could change the game at Jabot. As Billy continues to clash with Jack, this power play could send ripples through the family business. Will Billy succeed in outsmarting his father, or is he playing a dangerous game that will backfire? The Abbott family drama is far from over, and the stakes have never been higher. Nick's medical crisis. Nick Newman faces a medical crisis that shakes him to his core. As he struggles to keep his condition a secret, Phyllis and Sharon begin to notice something isn't right. With his health on the line, Nick must decide whether to tell the truth or continue hiding the severity of his illness. Will his secret be exposed, or can he keep the people he loves in the dark for a little longer? The return of an unexpected face. In a surprising twist, Tara Locke returns to Genoa City and shakes things up as she makes a bold move to take Harrison back from Kyle and Summer. Kyle's world is rocked as his custody battle with Tara heats up, and his worst fears start to come true. How far will Tara go to regain control over her son, and what will Kyle do to stop her? The Young and the Restless star Lyndon Ashby's status update. Is Cameron Kirsten gone for good? The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that despite Cameron Kirsten passing away back in 2023, the writers created a very interesting way to bring the character back in 2024. While the storyline was dark, fans enjoyed watching the Cameron Kirsten hallucination banter back and forth with Sharon Newman. As viewers know, Sharon's bipolar medication was tampered with, causing her to spiral with her mental health. She saw Cassie Newman at one point. However, she was completely taken aback when Cameron appeared as a hallucination in early August of this year, looking exactly as she last saw him: dirty face, ruffled hair, and bloodied shirt. Sharon acknowledged that Cameron was a figment of her imagination, and the scenes between the two were often very riveting. Unfortunately, Cameron often encouraged her to dive into her darker side, and was the one who advised her to try and unalive Daniel Romalotti. Sharon ended up at Daniel's apartment but couldn't go through with it all. Still, had she not been there, she would have never ended up being linked to Heather Stevens' passing. Should've, would've, could've. However, Sharon did end up getting caught by Heather as she tried to leave the apartment after covering her tracks. But this is what led to the two women fighting. Sharon blacked out and woke up to find Heather's lifeless body on the floor and assumed she did the deed. Fans know Sharon didn't, however. Cameron somehow convinced her to clean up the scene of the crime and dump Heather's body in the river. Sadly, he also encouraged her to pin the entire thing on Daniel. Sharon has since come clean, and thanks to Jordan and Ian Ward's return, it looks like she'll be on the road to redemption soon enough, as the two villains likely tampered with her meds, and they were the ones behind poor Heather's demise. Two interesting things happened during the Monday, November 25 episode. The first was the fact that Sharon told Nick Newman she was on new meds and finally feels normal again. The second thing was Sharon banishing Cameron away. Fans hadn't seen the Cameron hallucination since Sharon fessed up to Heather's passing, so many naturally thought the character was gone. During their scene together, Sharon told Cameron she was strong now and didn't need him anymore. She commanded the hallucination to leave, and when she closed her eyes and then opened them, Cameron was gone. Is this the last fans will see of Cameron Kirsten moving forward? No official announcement has been made by either the Y&R or Lyndon Ashby, so it's hard to say. Still, as Sharon's mental health is getting better, thanks to her new meds, and the support she's getting from her family and Nick, so seeing the Cameron hallucination just wouldn't make sense at this point. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Cameron could come back at some point later on in this storyline or down the road. However, for now, it seems like Lyndon Ashby might have concluded his run. Unless the soap has yet another plot twist in store for Sharon, which is always possible. The gang from The Young and the Restless got into the spirit of the season at the show's annual holiday party, and some of the cast's youngest members shared a behind-the-scenes look at the festivities. Based on photos shared by Redding Munsell on Instagram, this year's celebration was an ugly sweater theme. The 9-year-old posted several shots of him with co-stars Sienna Mercury and Judah Mackey, decked out in their ugly attire, singing karaoke at the party. "Amazing holiday party," declared Munsell, who sang for the first time during the bash. "I discovered karaoke rocks." Munsell showed off his skills in a second post, taking on the catchy theme song for the classic 1980s sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. As his I and our colleagues cheered him on, Munsell rapped his way through the lyrics made famous by the show's star, Will Smith, and even improvised a few dance moves. We have to say, he did quite well for a guy who wasn't born until decades after the show's heyday. Unfortunately, Paxton Mishkind, Johnny, had to miss the party, but the teenager had a good reason. He had end-of-semester tests to take at school. Luckily, his colleagues figured out a way for Mishkind to still be a part of the Christmas party. They glued a cut-out photo of him, wearing an ugly Christmas sweater, onto a stick, toted him around all night, and took videos and pictures. The Young and the Restless reveals Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott will have quite an eventful date. Also coming up, Jack Abbott and Tracy Abbott will reminisce about their mother. Plus, Victoria Newman will fret to Nikki Newman, and Diane Jenkins will get advice from an unlikely source. My and our spoilers tease Diane will show up at Crimson Lights with a worried look on her face. Esther Valentine will say she knows that Elook and will bring her a hot drink filled with whipped cream. Esther will tell Diane she's a good listener and will encourage her to open up. So Diane will say she feels like no one in Genoa City is ever going to accept her. "I am destined to be distrusted in this town. People just throw my past back in my face." Boo avo. But Esther will tell her she should do the most selfless thing she can think of. Something people will find impossible not to believe. Meanwhile, Victoria, whose once ruthless character has been reduced to a worried mother hen, will fret about how her granddaughter performed on her first day at Chancellor. So she'll arrive at the ranch to ask her own mother. Nikki will tell Victoria that Claire performed like a champ, anticipating her every move and acting on it. But Victoria's worried that she's moving too quickly. She's taking her first steps in this big world, she'll say. It's exciting and terrifying at the same time. Speaking of Claire, she'll have dinner with Kyle at Society. He'll tell her he's amazed at how she's able to let go of the past, and she'll credit her therapist. Kyle will point out she was stolen as a baby and can't believe she doesn't harbor any resentment. Claire will say it's there, and she could work herself up about it if she wanted to, but then Jordan wins. Now that Claire has her family back, she doesn't want to miss a single moment. Then she'll ask if he's still having an issue with his parents, but Kyle will say he doesn't want to spoil their date. This is what couples do. They talk about the good and the bad, Claire will reply. Kyle will smile and ask Claire if she just called them a couple. "I guess I did," she'll say. Claire will add that her grandmother called him her boyfriend after she saw the flowers he sent. "I'd like to be your boyfriend, if you want me to," he'll say. "I do," Claire will reply. "So we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. We're a couple." Claire will add that, as his girlfriend, she's there to listen. Of course, Kyle will take the opportunity to complain about Diane. "It's my mom. It kills me to say this, but I still don't feel like I can trust her," he'll say. Claire will ask where his doubts came from, and he'll say there's still things he can't move past. "I'm very familiar with manipulative behavior, and I don't think your mom is lying to you," she'll say. At the Abbott estate, Jack will find an old ornament with Jackie on it. Tracy will walk in, and they'll discuss Dina Margeron, Marla Adams, and the bitterness they had towards her for years. "All that resentment, I carried it around with me until almost right before she died," Jack will admit. Now he's worried that history's repeating itself and his son is carrying around the same resentfulness and hurt. You think Kyle is experiencing that same kind of pain because of Diane? Tracy will ask. Jack will say yes, and he doesn't want that for Kyle. He deserves valuable time with his mother. But Tracy will tell him not to give up hope. And don't worry about your feelings from the past, she'll add. It's not a weakness, it's a superpower. When Tracy goes upstairs, Jack will head into the living room with the ornament and reminisce about his mother. It turns out Dana helped him make the ornament. Finally, Kyle and Claire will arrive. Claire will head out and Kyle will see the ornament. He'll ask Jack if he'd like to hang it on the tree. Why don't you do the honors? Jack will reply, for me and for your grandmother. Genoa City is hit by a fierce blizzard, setting the stage for a chilling plan by Ian Ward and Jordan. As snow blankets the streets, these two criminals see the storm as the perfect cover for their deadly plot. Ian, a master manipulator, wants to eliminate Sharon Newman, Maria, and Claire. His scheme is ruthless. Use the snowstorm to cover his tracks, leaving no evidence behind. Ian ambushes Sharon at home, leaving her unconscious in the freezing cold. Meanwhile, Jordan lures Mariah and Claire out, using their concern for Sharon as bait. The blizzard hides the crime, and the trio of victims is left to succumb to the harsh elements. With no witnesses and no evidence, Ian and Jordan think they are untouchable. As concern grows for Sharon, Mariah, and Claire, Nick Newman and Detective Ray Rosales brave the storm to search for them. Their search leads them to a secluded shed where they find the women unconscious, barely alive from the cold. With quick action, Nick and Ray manage to revive them, but the danger is far from over. Ian and Jordan, meanwhile, have escaped into the storm, leaving behind only a trail of terror. Though the victims are saved, the fight for justice is just beginning. Ian and Jordan's escape means they remain a threat to the town. With the storm clearing, the hunt for these criminals intensifies. The question remains, how far will Ian and Jordan go to protect their freedom, and who will pay the price in the end? In the latest twists and turns of The Young and the Restless, fans are bracing for a dramatic showdown as Nikki Newman drops a bombshell on her daughter, Victoria. Nikki reveals the conversation she had with Claire, sending Victoria into a spiral of worry and confusion. What did Nikki say to Claire, and how will Victoria react to protect her father, Victor Newman, from taking the blame for a potential scandal? This revelation is more than just a family disagreement. It could change the fate of the Newman family. With Victor's reputation and freedom on the line, Victoria finds herself in a moral dilemma. Should she let the truth unfold or protect her father at all costs? What did Nikki tell Claire? The drama begins when Nikki confides in her daughter Victoria about her recent conversation with Claire, a pivotal character in the ongoing storyline. While the exact details of the conversation remain shrouded in mystery, Nikki's words have clearly set off alarm bells for Victoria. Did Nikki reveal too much, or is she trying to protect her family from the consequences of a dangerous truth? Nikki's decision to speak to Claire was likely driven by her motherly instincts, wanting to shield her family from harm. However, this revelation could backfire, especially if Victoria thinks that her father might be implicated in something that could tarnish the Newman family name forever. How does Victoria react to the news? Victoria's reaction is one of shock and concern. She immediately understands the potential consequences of her mother's words. The last thing she wants is for her father, Victor, to face any backlash or, worse, criminal charges. The pressure on Victoria intensifies as she contemplates her options. Will Victoria step in to help Victor avoid blame, or will she allow the truth to come out? Victoria's protective nature, especially towards her father, is well known. However, there are consequences to both choices, and this time, it may not be as simple as taking Victor's side without considering the impact on the rest of the family. What will Victoria do to protect Victor? Victoria's moral compass is put to the test in this moment. As the business-minded Newman, she's always been adept at playing the long game, but now she must decide how far she's willing to go to protect Victor. The stakes are high. Victor's actions, or possibly his past, could be exposed, threatening not just his freedom but the entire Newman family empire. In typical Victoria fashion, she will likely make bold moves to try and protect her father, but this time, her actions might come with unintended consequences. What will she do to cover up the truth and keep her father's secret safe? Will she attempt to manipulate the situation to her advantage? Can Victoria keep the family's secrets hidden? For years, Victor has built a reputation as a powerful, untouchable figure in Genoa City, but this new development could jeopardize everything. If Victoria chooses to conceal the truth, she risks alienating her closest allies, including her mother, Nikki. However, exposing the truth could leave her family vulnerable to public scrutiny and legal consequences. Victoria's choices will have long-lasting ramifications. The big question is whether she can keep the Newman family's secrets under wraps or whether the truth will ultimately come out, threatening everything her father has worked for. Nikki and Victoria's complex relationship. A mother-daughter bond tested. How will Nikki's revelation affect their relationship? Nikki and Victoria have always had a complex relationship. While they share a deep bond as mother and daughter, their differing approaches to family loyalty and personal values have often put them at odds. Nikki's decision to share what she told Claire could further strain their relationship, especially if Victoria feels betrayed or manipulated. Will Victoria see Nikki's revelation as a betrayal of her trust, or will she understand that her mother was trying to protect the family? The answer could have significant consequences for their already strained dynamic. As the stakes rise, their mother-daughter bond will be tested in ways that viewers have never seen before. Does Victoria trust her mother's judgment? Throughout The Young and the Restless, Victoria has demonstrated her ability to make tough decisions, often without consulting her mother. However, this time, with the threat to Victor looming large, she must decide whether to trust Nikki's instincts or take matters into her own hands. Nikki's actions are often driven by a desire to protect her family, but will Victoria feel that Nikki is overstepping this time? The question of trust, whether Victoria will side with her mother or take control of the situation herself, adds an extra layer of tension to the storyline. Victor Newman's fate. Will he be held accountable? Could Victor be in legal trouble? At the heart of the drama is Victor, whose actions have always been shrouded in secrecy. As one of the most powerful men in Genoa City, Victor has lived by his own rules, but this time, it may come back to haunt him. With Nikki's conversation with Claire on the table, the question remains, is Victor in legal trouble? It's clear that the show's writers are building toward a massive confrontation that could involve criminal charges, public scandal, or both. But will Victor be held accountable for his past actions, or will his children go to extraordinary lengths to protect him from facing the consequences? What will happen next in The Young and the Restless? The upcoming plot twists. As always, The Young and the Restless keeps fans on the edge of their seats with new revelations and cliffhangers. The stakes have never been higher for the Newman family, and the tension between Victoria and Nikki is only just beginning. Will the truth come out? Will Victoria sacrifice her own moral compass to protect her father's legacy? As the drama unfolds, it's clear that The Young and the Restless will continue to deliver shocking moments that leave audiences guessing until the very last minute. In conclusion, the recent spoilers surrounding Nikki's conversation with Claire and Victoria's reaction have set the stage for an explosive next chapter in The Young and the Restless. With Victor's fate hanging in the balance, it's clear that the Newman family will be tested in ways they never anticipated. Will Victoria's protective instincts kick in, or will she allow the truth to destroy everything her father has built? In Genoa City, secrets have a way of shaping lives, but few are as dark or harrowing as Heather Stevens' story. After years of captivity at the hands of the ruthless, her newfound freedom, however, comes with perilous consequences, as the threat of her captors looms large over her and her loved ones. Heather's miraculous escape. Heather's journey to freedom began with an unyielding determination to survive. For years, she endured unimaginable trauma and captivity, but her spirit remained unbroken. On what seemed like an ordinary day, Heather found a sliver of hope and took a daring leap toward freedom. She outsmarted her captors, unlocking her restraints and slipping away under the cover of night. The escape was just the beginning. Heather's body, weakened by years of deprivation, struggled to keep up with her unrelenting will to live. Each step in the unfamiliar world outside felt like a monumental task. Yet she pushed forward, eventually seeking solace and safety with her family, the one place she knew she could find refuge. The family's joy and fear. For Daniel, Heather's return was nothing short of a miracle. Years of believing she was gone had left a void in his heart, and seeing her again was a moment of profound joy. However, the euphoria of reunion was tinged with an undercurrent of fear. Heather's escape, if discovered by Jordan and Ian, would place everyone in grave danger. Determined to protect Heather, Daniel has kept her survival a tightly guarded secret. He knows the wards will stop at nothing to reclaim her, even if it means tearing apart anyone who stands in their way. To safeguard Heather, Daniel has gone so far as to conceal her presence from almost everyone, including their daughter Lucy. Lucy's emotional revelation. When Lucy learns the truth about her mother's survival, her emotions run deep. For years, she believed Heather was lost forever. Now, the impossible has happened. Her mother is back. The joy of this reunion, however, comes with a heavy burden. Lucy is acutely aware of the danger her family faces. Despite her fear, Lucy is resolute in her determination to protect her mother. Alongside her father, she vows to shield Heather from any harm, no matter the cost. Together, they form a united front, balancing their hopes for a brighter future against the ever-present threat of the wards. Jordan and Ian Ward are not ones to let go easily. Heather's escape has only heightened their resolve to capture her, as their sinister plans hinge on her captivity. Their pursuit is relentless, and they are willing to destroy anyone who dares to stand in their way. The battle between Heather's family and the wards is a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Heather's return to Genoa City brings hope, but it also casts a shadow of dread over those closest to her. Every move they make to keep her safe is fraught with risk, as the wards grow ever closer to discovering her whereabouts. Heather's return marks the beginning of a new chapter, but the fight for her freedom is far from over. The scars of her captivity linger, both physically and emotionally, and the threat posed by the wards looms large. Her family must navigate a treacherous path to protect her, preparing for the inevitable confrontation that could change their lives forever. As Heather takes each tentative step toward safety, she edges closer to a climactic showdown with the wards. Will she finally find peace and a chance to rebuild her life, or will the darkness of her past reclaim her once more? One thing is certain, the battle for survival is only just beginning, and the stakes have never been higher. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.